Good morning. The recess has ended. I'll call this Grant County Commissioners regular session meeting to order. It's Monday, March the 16th, 2026, and it's 10:01 a.m. Today we'll have the prayer led by Mr. Hicks and the Pledge of Allegiance led by myself. If you would stand.
Let us pray. Dear Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you for the blessings. Thank you for your hedge of protection over the county and its responders, its residents this weekend. Lord, we pray that you be in this meeting, leading, guide, and direct us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move on to the first item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which is the pre-approval of claims. The claims, the minutes, and the payroll. Are there any questions or corrections?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
Second. I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to item number 5, monthly and annual reports. The treasurer's monthly balance report for June and July 2025. We'll show them as received. Are there any questions? We'll move on to item number 6, communication and board updates. Are there any elected officials or boards that represent the commissioners that would like to give us any updates? Not seeing anyone. We'll move on to the EMA report. Mr. Jackson.
Good morning.
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 A lot to report today. You kind of had a busy few days, so I'll just touch on the highlights as they are. First and most importantly, I do want to report that on Saturday, there was an AEP contractor, not an AEP employee, but one of their contractors working to restore electric service due to damage on Friday. He came in contact with the 7200 volt line on Saturday on 500 East and was electrocuted. Happy to report that gentleman is alive today. He is in a hospital in Indianapolis off a ventilator, as I understand, but I'm not sure on that completely. However, some of the details on that, Fairmount Township, Mill Township, Grant County EMS, and the Sheriff's Department initially responded to that. Life-saving CPR services was already being rendered by some passersby. They continued those efforts. Was able to get him a pulse back by the time they got him loaded on a helicopter and flown out. So excellent job by the crew that responded there that day. We will be conducting tomorrow afternoon an after-action report to see what all went well, what we could have done better, and those kind of things. So we was trying to catch up on that. But that is a reminder, while I have a public audience, treat every power line as it is alive. That gentleman, I think he probably was working on the assumption that line was down. It had been down for a while. I went by it earlier in the day and saw it there. So every line is potentially energized until the guys in big white trucks tell me otherwise. So there are things, storm damage. We did conduct some storm damage on Saturday morning. So Miss Sinnwell High School, they sustained some pretty severe roof damage. Also Park Avenue Storage here in Marion, they had some pretty severe roof damage as well. We're going to try to get out today, hopefully if the weather cooperates, and resume some of that damage assessment in the county. Numerous trees down, power lines. AEP, I believe, we're close to having everybody restored this morning. We still did have 450 North was shut down at State Road 9. There was lines there. Our crews were there this morning. So working to get that back up and going. I do want to thank the Highway Department. At one point in time, we had all of our equipment out deployed, they did help us with some of that stuff as well. And then lastly, the news briefing this morning from the National Weather Service has issued a severe weather advisory in effect until 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Snow showers, lake effect snow, and winds will continue 30, 40 mile an hour, at least through the next 24 hours. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Appreciate you taking care of it.
Glad to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
We'll move on to item number 8, Central Dispatch Report, Mr. Hicks.
Good morning. For the month to date, we had 4,322 police calls, 378 fire calls, 499 EMS calls, and dispatch handled 264 calls for service for the first 15 days of the month. Starting today, we will be fully staffed. We have our newest dispatcher coming in this morning, or this at noon today, to start the paper process. And then she will work with Art Ridenthal on day shift for a couple of weeks, and then she'll probably go to night shift. We have one dispatcher in training who took her final test this weekend and passed, so we're finishing up that training to get her on her own. And so, other than that, rolling smooth.
When was the last time you've been fully staffed?
We were fully staffed for 4 days in November. So hopefully we get a little bit longer this time.
Good job.
Yep, good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 9, the IT report.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Not too many updates for today. The first one, Forte stopped by and they got a Superior Court 2. They were having some issues in the courtroom with their audio system, and they came out and got all that resolved. So they're good to go now. The next item I wanted to update you guys on is the GIS fees. So I attended my first GIS coordinators support group. That's what it's called. And they there's only about four or 5 or 6 people in there, and they were very nice, but they didn't have any of the information that we were looking for regarding the fees. But they knew 2 other people that would possibly know. So I reached out to those 2 individuals, and one of them did respond back. And they gave me this over here. Thought I sent that to everybody over the weekend, but it wasn't in time to get it in your packets and stuff. But a lot of them I noticed were open data, so I don't know if that means like where it's like free for people to access information, if that's the common process for that. But it looked like there was one county, I think it was Floyd, who charges fees for their stuff, their data. So the gentleman, his name is Dan, he was going through and he was, he had a similar project last year, so he gave me all of his findings that he had so far. So there's still a lot of them on there that are unknown. So like for some of those, if there's a particular county that, we want to look at, I could reach out to them directly and see if maybe I can get some feedback from them directly. I was thinking it would be more centrally aggregated, but it looks like everybody just kind of goes off and does their own thing on it. So that's my update on that. And
I appreciate you working on figuring out. I mean, obviously we need to work together with the auditor and you to make sure that our fee schedules compare.
Right, because and like I said, it definitely needs updated. It's been a few years for sure. The next item, I wasn't sure. I noticed that the panic buttons was on there.
So I don't know if you want me to hold off on that. We'll address it.
I think if you just go ahead and address it now, just
Okay.
kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, so we've been looking for a dedicated panic button system for a couple of years now. We've had our eye on Verkada and their system, and so we were looking at them because pricing we found it not to be as bad, and it also ties in with the existing camera system. So if somebody hits a panic button near a camera, we can send a feed out to the sheriff deputies or to dispatch, and they'll be able to they'll basically get an email alert or a text message with a link, and they can tap on it and it'll show them what's going on. So it just gives us a little bit more, we can leverage more of our existing infrastructure with them. I did work with Beth, and we reached out to a company called Centrac, and they have panic buttons, but they're like ID cards or badge cards, and they have little buttons on them. So I worked with them, and the guy, he was kind of hesitant to, get me budgetary pricing for it, because I think he was thinking we wouldn't do it because they're primarily in the medical field. So a lot of medical facilities and places like that and hospitals use them. So it'd probably be a little bit pricier. So I reached out to them to see if they could actually give us a price. That way we're not dealing with, what if. So I'm still working on getting that one. So we have another quote. But AppTech, they did break down. They came out and they inspected the buildings, and we worked with them, and we figured out how the panic buttons would be hooked up for each building. That's pretty much all I got so far. I don't know if you gentlemen have any questions or concerns about it, or any questions.
Why is the one company hesitant about giving you a price?
I think it's just because they're hesitant because they have to send somebody out to look at the buildings and stuff, and they don't want to. That was the way I took it. They didn't want to have somebody come out and eyeball it. So I was just trying to see if I could get them to give me like a price for the size of the county.
Yeah.
So
So they didn't give you like
Yeah.
kind of an idea or anything.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So they charge you training for each one of these buildings? Is how this is broke down?
They did include training on those, but really, they could just charge training for one building, and
Okay.
yeah, because I
I got it
think,
on every one, so.
yeah, I can have them redo it, and because that shouldn't be that bad. Take that off there. Because I had them, because we looked at it last year, and they basically just went in, they refreshed the quotes, and they was able to keep it all the same, but no increases or anything like that.
I'll just say that I think we should try it somewhere.
Mhm.
I think that probably the courthouse is the most needed trial. We're still working on some grant applications for court
Okay.
security stuff. I think that we can apply this year. It's my understanding. So I just wanted to make sure everybody had this information that was updated. I know that the judges have requested it.
Yep, like I said, they went in, they refreshed it, and there was no changes or increases from last year. So pricing's the same on them.
Marcus, can you talk just a little bit about how this correlates with our camera system that we currently have installed in the building?
Yeah, it ties in. So basically we can, like if somebody hits a panic button, because the panic buttons are portable. So people can take them with them, but we can also mount them to a desk or under a table or something like that. But they connect to a access point. So it's kind of like Wi-Fi, but it's dedicated strictly for those devices. So we can assign, like if somebody's in a particular area or is near a certain access point, we can assign a camera to it. And if somebody hits a panic button in an area that's near one of those access points and there's a camera in there, we can send that feed to, the dispatchers or the sheriff's department. And that way they know what's going on. They're not going in blind. And so with a lot of the panic buttons, we have it targeted down to a few like specific areas in each office, like where a lot of the public is at, because that's where it probably get hit. So if we do need more panic buttons, they're about $75 each. So if we need more, we can just buy
That's
them.
an add-on.
What's gonna be the monthly bill once they're all done? If we got it all in, what's the monthly bill?
What's the monthly bill? So your big upfront costs, I think, let me see here. Yeah, I thought it was like the 4,000 or 5,000. So I'll have to double check with them since they got them all broke down into individual quotes.
Cause this looks like, buildings right here, it looks like 7,300. And they're gonna charge you more for door hardware.
I mean, it's capable of doing the doors, but we won't be buying the door hardware and stuff for it. This is just for the panic buttons. But I can get with them on the pricing for the licensing part of it, but the bulk of it, is for the hardware and the installs.
Are there any other questions? Thanks, Marcus. Do you have anything else for us today?
No, sir. I mean, you gentlemen need anything else? Nope. All right. That's all I got. Thanks so much, gentlemen.
We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, the Highway Department. Mr. White.
Good morning.
Morning.
Update you on a few things. Like Bobby said, we've been out getting trees and signs and everything else repaired today and all weekend long. And still ready for snow if it does accumulate. So working on all that. So getting that taken care of. At the last meeting, we opened up our asphalt bids and our liquid asphalt for 2026. And we'd like to recommend that we use Brooks Construction for the asphalt for 2026. And then also asphalt materials for our liquid asphalt for 2026 as their bids were presented.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Poling, a second from Commissioner Stewart to accept Brooks Construction for the asphalt bid for 2026. Are there any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
The next thing I have to bring up is we're working on trying to purchase some parcel for a bridge project here on Marion. It's 14th Street, Bridge 791. The first parcel is parcel number 1. The amount of right of way that we're looking at purchasing was $1,750. This buyer will take this out with the individual homeowner and see if this will be satisfactory for them. So if you do accept this, I need your signature, Shane, if you guys are all right with that.
We need a motion regarding Bridge
791.
791 regarding the partial.
Right. And basically all we're doing is just buying the right of way off the parcel so then we can develop the bridge, construct the bridge.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve the purchase of the right-of-way regarding Bridge 791. Are there any other questions or comments?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
You need to review it. All right. I'm gonna wait on this. I had a bridge inspection for the 2 bridges that were in the community crossing. I was gonna have United do some bridge inspection. I want Mr. Harker to look at it. It's a contract, so I want him to review it first. So before we sign off on it.
Yeah, we'll put on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay. The next thing I had to do is I have a list of roads that we're looking at starting our paving in 2026.
Yes, sir.
This is kind of our wish list, our start out for the year program. Some of them in Pleasant Township and Washington Township, that's some of our bigger housing additions that we're trying to get caught back up. One is in Indian Village, the other one's in Shady Hills, Marcus Era. So we got some housing additions we're trying to get repaved for this year. So if you notice, there's a lot of streets in some of them. That's their locations. So I've kind of already sent this list to Brooks to let them to review it to see what we'll do and everything else.
When it comes to paving, are we maxed out as far as, the discounts? Like, is it, the more miles that we could add, would you get a better deal on put down? I think we're getting the best we can.
Well, basically, that's why they do the bid thing. If we do over 1,000 ton a day, that's when we get the better rate. And we usually have no trouble doing 1,000 ton a day. So we save almost $5 a ton compared to if we just go and buying it out at the plant. So that's why we always try to do big projects that are at least 1 mile or 2 miles long, so we get a better discount that way. So,
Makes sense. Thanks.
like I said, kind of review them. If you got any questions, let me know. And like I said, this is kind of a wish list to start out. We'll probably be adding more and everything else kind of thing. So, the other thing I was going to bring up is we'd like to set April 6th if we could have United do our report on our bridge inspection. Just basically do a 2-page update on where our inspection was from October and September of 2025, where we are in the inspection. If we could have them attend that meeting to present to you gentlemen the information that they've got. That'll be all right. Okay.
Yep.
And then I talked to Mr. Harker about trying to sell that equipment. We're going to talk after the meeting, hopefully get that resolved on the used equipment. And I'm going to go to road school for the rest of the week. So that's all I have, unless you gentlemen have anything else.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 12 on the agenda, Veteran Service Office Report.
My health
Or,
department.
sorry, excuse me, the Health Department. I always miss Health Department report.
Good morning. This should be quick and easy. We're working with Mr. White and the Recycle Center in trying to schedule another tire amnesty day. We would like to set that for April 18th. You can bring up to 10 vehicle tires at no charge. Tractor tires would be at an additional cost. I would like your pre-approval because your next meeting isn't until the 6th. We're still working out labor. We're looking for some volunteer laborers. So we won't know till the end of the week if we have that locked in. So can I get your permission to move forward as long as we secure the labor?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
You just want to go ahead and make a motion to approve. I'd say we just go ahead and do a motion for April the 10th for the
No,
tire.
18th.
18th.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Pulling, a second from Commissioner Stewart to April the 18th, have a tire amnesty day, and we're gonna work on the details and work together and collaborate.
I was gonna let you know, I've already talked to Solid Waste District and they're fine with it, so, because I told them we probably need at least 4 semi-trailers and they said that was fine, so. I've already talked to them, so.
Are there any other questions from the members? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not advertising until we get labor security. Our staff did it last year, and I thought everybody was going to be off on workman's comp. It was a lot of work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your work on that, for sure. Okay, we'll move on to item number 12, Veteran Service Office. Mr. Gilpin.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I'd just like to thank the Health Department and the Highway Department for the tire amnesty, because I probably have 200 tires donated on my property. So that'll be a big help to me. I put a flyer in y'all's packet on the Indiana Veteran Property Tax Reform. If anybody didn't get a copy, let me know. We had a heads up from the Auditor's Department last week that this was coming. The governor signed it into law last week, so it became official. Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs had a Zoom meeting on it on Friday to go over the details. There were a lot of questions from throughout the state, and they're still working on it. But in a nutshell, they've changed the way the property tax deduction will be calculated for veterans. It used to be a deduction from the assessed value of the property. They've simplified it to where it's now just going to be a flat dollar amount deducted. And all veterans that are 100% disabled will automatically pay no property tax at all. So it's the biggest benefit is to the 100% disabled veterans, but everybody will have a flat dollar value deducted from their property tax bill. So for example, for me, I normally pay $600 to $700 property tax. My category veteran will get a $600 flat deduction off of that. So state of Indiana have done calculations and they estimate this will reduce the property taxes paid by veterans about $50 million statewide. So our receipts as a county are anticipated to go down. Veterans will pay less, county will get less money. So the big question right now is the actual paperwork involved. The state of Indiana plans to change the forms required. They're working on what that new form will look like. They think that new form will be available in July, and that's why they put out to the public, if you're a veteran, plan on coming in July or thereafter to fill out the new form so that you're in the system. If a veteran fails to do so, it's possible they could fall off the deduction list completely, and then they would lose a deduction for that calendar year. So the onus is on our office to try to make sure the word gets out to all veterans to come in July and thereafter, fill out that new form so they'll be in the database to get the deduction. So we'll be doing outreach to all the veterans organizations, Facebook page, newspapers, et cetera, radio, to try and get the word out so people don't miss that opportunity to get that deduction. I'll pause for any questions.
I think it's awesome. It's an awesome program, and I appreciate you bringing that to us.
If there's any members of the public attending today that are veterans or relatives of veterans, I'll put extra copies of this flyer on the table there on the way out. So you can take that, make sure that you're informed about that new law. The other item I had on the agenda was proposed change to office hours. We do have our new Assistant Veteran Service Officer onboarded now. He got on board at the beginning of this pay period. Appreciate the help from HR and everybody on that. With him on board, we're able to extend our hours to a little bit later in the evening for folks that work till 4 or 5 p.m. and aren't able to get in before our normal 4 o'clock closing time. So I'd like to propose, in addition to what's already in your packet, to not take appointments on Friday so that we can use Friday as our catch-up admin day, unless it's an urgent case, which we'll always make exceptions for. But Monday through Thursday, we can now take customers up until 6 p.m. so that folks that work till 4 or 5 can still come in and file claims with the assistance of that new assistant service officer. So my proposed hours for your consideration will be Monday through Thursday from 8 to 6. And then on Fridays, we'll only take urgent appointments and use that as our admin day. I'll pause for any questions on any of that.
So I have just a question for the administrative executive. Typically, this building closes at 4.
Right.
How are we going to address, the locked doors, so to speak, throughout the week?
I would assume that you would take appointments after 4.
Yeah,
So
it's by
you're not going to be
appointment.
open for walk-ins. It would be an appointment situation. So if you have someone coming in at 5 o'clock or 5:30, you'll meet them in the lobby to let them in.
Correct. Yep, and that's what we've done in the past when we've had those special situations.
Also, back on your veterans, the tax deduction, if that deadline changes or if anything changes with that paperwork, could you update the commissioners with that?
We definitely will, because when the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs had that Zoom meeting that July, it was just a guess on their part because they're not the producers of the form. It's another state agency. It'll produce the form, so that's their guess when they think the form will be ready.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions regarding the office hours changing?
Yes, sir.
I'd entertain a motion then.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve the VSO's office hour changes. That Monday through Thursday, they're going to be open from 8 to 4, but after 4, from 4 to 6, it'll be by appointment. And then, as needed on Fridays as far as appointments, but
That's correct.
closed for administration.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll move on to the first item under old business. We still have the 9/11 flooring quotes. They're tabled. I will mention, I had some brief conversation with the maintenance director, and it looks like the building is going to need sprinklered. Is that correct, Mr. Jackson? Or do you want to come and speak to that? Sure.
So we've had some conversation with with Marion Fire Department, who's actually responsible for that, protecting that building. And we've reached out to the State Fire Marshal's office. So still waiting on a response from them. I don't know if they're going to send somebody. I would expect that they'll send somebody down to physically look at that building, inspect that building, and give us an answer. I would like to move forward without something in writing that tells us what our need is.
Yes, that's just an update for the commissioners that it's a potential that it could be sprinkler, and if we're going to do that, then there's no reason to do any flooring at this time. So we'll just, no action needed, but I appreciate you looking into that for us.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to new business. First item under new business, item A, TKE, change order with the elevators.
This is just a change order to allow for furnishing and installing 4 additional smoke detectors to replace in the existing in the elevator lobbies. So an additional charge of just $7 short of $4,000 additional for this installation.
Are there any questions or comments regarding the change order? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Pulling, a second from Commissioner Stewart to approve the change order request from TKE Elevators for additional smoke detectors and replacement of the elevator lobbies. The total amount was $3,992.86. Are there any other questions or comments from the members? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to an item, it's the Jonesboro MOU. I received an email from Mr. Brad Klein. Says the mayor has asked to reach out regarding the money allocated for the demolition of the buildings in the city limits. It was my understanding that the county had put $75,000 aside for these projects. Any updates pertaining to this would be appreciated. I then reached out to the auditor regarding this, as it was ARPA funds from previous commissioners, and I guess, do you have anything that you looked at? So I believe that during the previous administration, they allotted $75,000 of ARPA to fund demolition of said buildings within Jonesboro. I think that we need to have Mr. Harper look at the MOU and determine if they qualify for the money, or do we need to redo the MOU?
I remember doing it.
School.
Yeah, it's in the JC Knight building.
Yeah. I thought it was specific buildings.
Yeah. Has it been torn down yet?
Yep, they got a grant for it, and they got it tore down.
Okay. Yeah. Building's been torn down, I think. Shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, do we just need, I
I'll
guess,
take a look at it though, and I'll follow up.
follow up on the MOU and then see what the process is, or what documentation we need to.
Probably just a photo of the site should be good.
They also need to send you an invoice for
Yeah,
section
we're
4
gonna need the invoice though.
of the MOU. So once you get that invoice, you guys are able to review it, make sure that it was in line with your expectations. But otherwise, the MOU would allow you to extend the deadline that was December 31, 2025.
That's a pretty big building. I'm expecting that's 75, but it'll be part of the tear down cost.
Yeah, I thought they got like, don't quote it.
That's what I figured. That's what I was thinking
That's
too.
part, so,
Yeah.
but yeah, the invoice will show, we'll get something.
Okay, so we can move on. We'll move on to Larson metal shelving quote, the recorder, Kathy Floyd.
Good morning. I'm not sure if this needs approved or not. It's a quote. But since he wanted me to sign it, it's a quote. What I'm wanting to do is get some new shelving for the old books and bring some of these old books out of the basement because they're just disintegrating down there and it's not a good air control. So I just wanted to bring some of them up. So I needed some new shelving to do it.
And that'll fit in your current area.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just gotta move some things around, but it'll fit.
This is all perpetuation fund. Okay. And when it comes to like those old record books, right, is there any way that, do you ever send them to like the state, to anything historical for them to hold on to them, or is there years that,
I never have,
okay.
but we still have searchers that go down the basement and look. And then some private people wanna go down and like just search like their family properties and go down there, and it's just a mess down that basement in that room, so.
And none of that's been digitized? Okay.
You have plans for that?
Yeah, that's all I've been doing since I've been in office is digitizing, so. We're back to 1900. So. I gotta go back to 1831. So, a few more years to go.
I'd entertain a motion for approval of the co-file.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve the recorder's request regarding co-file quote. Are there any other questions or comments from the members? Mr. Harper, do you have any?
Approved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to item D, Community Corrections CY 2027 grant application. Mr. Cunningham's here today.
Good morning.
Morning.
So it is that time of year where spring planting begins and flowers bloom, and we apply for our community corrections grant. So this is a every year process for us. This grant will cover January 1st of 2027 through December 31st of 2027. Two grant specific areas for us will be our community corrections grant that covers our electronic monitoring program, and then also our high-risk, high-need supervision for day reporting. And then the other section of our grant covers our reentry court and a screening individual who screens individuals coming from the Department of Corrections and also those being released from the jail. Our total application would be $1,236,003. Or $3. We will, this money that you see the application for is just for that community corrections grant. We'll have additional dollars that we will have to commit that'll come out of project income. Just a little history for you on this. Last year was the first year that we had ever received a cut in our grant application, and that happened around the state. Unfortunately, it has been the perfect storm from our legislature this last cycle with Senate Enrolled Act 1 and these community corrections grant cuts everywhere around the state. They've received that. So I anticipate probably another cut this year, but I will bring that back to you. We've been very fiscally responsible as a board, and to be able to have fees that we have available to be able to help during that short time. I answer any questions you have. I think Beth was kind enough to put together a letter for you to sign. I have to attach that with the grant for the application. But I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions?
None for me.
If there's no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Poling, a second from Commissioner Stewart to approve the grant request regarding the community corrections for the calendar year 2027. And are there any other questions from the members?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thanks so much. Appreciate everything.
Appreciate it.
We'll move on to item E under new business, National Opioid Settlement Notice.
I received an email late last week letting us know that they had reached another settlement totaling approximately $97 million. And in order for us to participate, it will need your signature, Mr. Middlesworth, electronically. So provided that the members are okay with us participating in this latest settlement, we just need to get your signature.
Are there any questions or comments? If there are none, I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve the National Opioid Settlement dollars to be sought after regarding this current settlement. So I don't have today, I mean, we have, for the people that aren't aware, so we have an opioid committee. We have received settlement dollars through various lawsuits regarding opioids. And currently, there's 2 accounts, restricted and unrestricted. Commissioners are in charge of receiving settlement funds per Indiana Code, the way the statute describes. We have yet to spend any restricted funds. We're spending about 2 salaries, I believe, for drug treatment court. And then the unrestricted, we've yet to spend any of those funds, but.
Mr. President, those settlement funds that we've received are pursuant to the national settlement funds and standards. This is governed by statute. This is something separate. We have to actually opt in for this, and it looks like they have a different settlement agreement requirements. So I'll look in to see what that is. I expect it to be very similar to what the national settlement requirements are. But I think this ought to be referred to the Opioid Funds Committee as well for us to look at, make sure that we're in compliance with it. I'll work with Ms. Winters on the forms necessary to receive these funds.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to item F, Commissioner Certificate Sales Resolution. Go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Harker.
Yes. So I have drafted a resolution that removes certain parcels from the upcoming commissioner's sale. The legal descriptions are attached in there to the resolution, like them identified.
So we gotta do it, these, why are we pulling them? Why are we pulling them?
At the request of let's see. The city has requested some to be pulled. The city of Marion has, the city of Jonesboro, and also the city of Gas City.
So they want us to give them to them for free?
We haven't determined any kind of terms. We just want to remove them and then look to negotiate later with how to dispose of them and get them back on the tax roll.
And then it comes back in front of us when we decide what to do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
This is just the first step, so we take them off the table.
Yep.
And then we can then negotiate with whomever on what to do.
What resolution number would it be? 3? We do have this date established for the sale, correct?
April 28th.
And that's in this building, correct? So in front of us, we have Resolution 3-2026. It's a resolution identifying tax sale certificates to be pulled from the tax sale to the public. Are there any other questions or comments? Do you have anything else you'd like to add? Other? Entertain the motion.
Mr. President, I'll make that motion that we approve Resolution 3-2026.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve the Resolution 3-2026. Are Are there any other questions or comments from the members? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to item G under new business, a letter of support for Marion Municipal Airport Utilities. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Winters.
We received a request asking for a letter of support to send to Senator Todd Young for congressionally directed spending appropriation to support the City of Marion's Municipal Airport Utilities Extension project. They sent along a form letter for us, for the three of you to sign and return to Senator Young, requesting support for to provide critical sanitary sewer and water infrastructure improvements to the Marion Municipal Airport area, supporting planned development and workforce expansion tied to Indiana Wesleyan University's aviation program and future aviation-related investment.
Are there any questions or comments from the members?
Will this be, is this going to provide to Glendale as well, or just the airport?
I believe to Glendale has would be there.
I would think so.
I believe they're seeking grant funds, correct, to help facilitate.
I'm good with it.
If there's no other questions or comments, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve the letter of support for the utilities extension project to Marion Municipal Airport area. Are there any other questions or comments from the members?
No, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to item H under new business, the data center moratorium. We'll turn it over to Mr. Harker.
Yes, at the last meeting, gentleman requested draft a moratorium on issue of permits for data centers. I have drafted that. What it does is it sends the matter for determination down to the Area Planning Commission for them to investigate and come up with a definition of what data centers are and or where they should be permitted, if at all. So this ordinance simply puts a stop to anything until area planning can go through its process. And it will have public meetings, and it will bring back to the commissioners a recommendation on an amendment to the zoning ordinance.
Do we have an ordinance number? I'm gonna go ahead and, you wanna read it into the record or?
Sure. Whereas the Grant County zoning ordinance does not address data centers, and whereas the Grant County Area Plan Commission Board of Commissioners completed an update to the county's comprehensive plan, which was adopted on September 2nd, 2025, and does not address data centers. And whereas the Board of Commissioners finds that establishing clear rules governing the usage, permissible location, installation, operation, maintenance, and drainage requirements for data centers is essential for the preservation and protection of the public health and safety as permitted by IC 36-7-2-8. And whereas the Board of Commissioners finds that the best way to preserve the public health and safety of the citizens of Grant County is to impose a temporary moratorium on improvement location permits for data centers pending an amendment to the zoning ordinance. And whereas the Board of Commissioners finds that the moratorium is necessary to enable the Area Plan Commission to prepare and adopt an amendment governing data centers that incorporates and considers, 1, the comprehensive plan, 2, the current conditions and the character of current structures and the uses in each district, 3, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted, 4, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction, and 5, responsible development and growth as required per IC 36-8-4-603. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Grant County, Indiana, that 1, a temporary moratorium has now been imposed on the issuance of or receipt of an improvement location permit or related application for any structure related to any data center project in all zoning districts in the unincorporated areas of Grant County to provide regulations related to data center projects in Grant County. 2, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon passage, approval, and publication as required by law, and shall remain in effect for 24 months or until the adoption of an ordinance amending the Grant County zoning ordinance is adopted, whichever occurs first. Duly adopted by the Board of Commissioners of Grant County, Indiana on the 16th day of March 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Sir. If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 4-2026, an ordinance imposing a temporary moratorium on the issuance of permits for data centers.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart, a second from Commissioner Poling to approve ordinance number 4-2026, an ordinance imposing a temporary moratorium on the issuance of permits for data centers. Are there any other questions or comments from the members?
No, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do you gentlemen have anything else for the good of the order that you'd like to add to the agenda?
I do not, sir.
I would like to talk a little bit, maybe add item I, the BCS management contract survey. I haven't had a chance to look at the contract. Have you, Mr. Harper? I feel like that when it comes to BCS management survey and the contract we have with them for that survey, I think that it'd be in the best interest just to go ahead and see about canceling the contract.
Will that allow them to, the surveys that have been compiled, will that allow them to mine those for information, or are we just terminating it at this time?
I mean, that's up to this body, but I think if we would look at the contract to see what the termination clause is.
I'll look at it for the next meeting.
And then the other thing I'd also like to note is that Augusta Consulting's contract expires at the end of this month, March. At this time, being as there's no redevelopment on the horizon, I'm not looking to extend said contract. So at this time, you gentlemen have nothing else further. We'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. At this time, the public is invited to speak before the board. Please approach the podium when recognized by the president. State your name and address And concerns or comments, no complaints, accusation, or name calling regarding personnel can be allowed during this public discussion time. A time limit of 2 minutes will be given. If more than one person is present for a group, only one spokesperson will be heard from the group. We expect professionalism and courtesy displayed at all public comment portions of the meetings. Again, this is the public comment. We're not here to, it's not a questions and answer session, but we will entertain any public comment this time. Go ahead.
Shane, I don't know as Area Planning Commission whether I would fall into the agenda anywhere else if I wanted to give you guys an update on where.
Yeah, why don't you just, if you just want to go ahead and give us an update on that.
Okay. Randy Atkins, 8560 South Wheeling Pike, Fairmount, Indiana, Area Planning Commission. We had our first subcommittee meeting last Wednesday, and the commission decided to, in order to create some transparency, to have some community members as part of that subcommittee. So we have a subcommittee made up of 3 citizen members and 4 commission members. And we were standing room only for that meeting. So I believe that this is an issue that is of concern to the residents of Grant County. One concern I had, maybe Marcus can help me with that, is when you've got a room full of people like that, you're not really aware of what's kind of happening out there. And I could hear you guys perfectly with the speakers, but one of the complaints that the community had was that they couldn't hear us. So I don't know, what the situation is with the speakers. If you could give Director Glancy an in-service on how we can make sure that, I think it's a good representation if folks can hear us, in a meeting like that. So with that subcommittee, it went well. I mean, we had some valuable input. I think it saved a lot of the discussion that took place in that subcommittee was the same discussion that community members would have shared. And I think it was very efficient that we were able to use the subcommittee to do that. We actually started the data center discussions back in September of 2025. The first document that Director Glancy provided to the commission was on October 25th. And it was an outline of possible considerations for an ordinance. And he'd also, in September, he had given us some other counties who had ordinances for us to review. So we've really kind of been working on this for quite a while. One of the questions that I have is, I think it's important that we share the next meeting with the public. I don't know whether we can include that on the commissioner's page or how you guys would suggest that we make sure that we're making people aware of when those meetings are. Any suggestions on that?
The administrative executive can post it on the website.
Okay, so you and Todd could work together on that. Yeah. Any questions you folks may have for us on the area plan?
It's not, no.
I appreciate the moratorium and giving us the opportunity to do our part of that. Thank you.
Thank you for your work on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, this is the public comment portion. Come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and allow 2 minutes.
Good morning, Molly Early, 1717 Summerfield Drive. I just had a couple of questions in regards to that last agenda item that you placed there in regards to canceling the contract with BCS Management. And I know that Mr. Harker is going to take a look at the term clause for that at the next meeting, and that will make that all official then. But two of you canceled the listening sessions after public discussion and things like that. And I'd like to know, we did not see the minutes of that meeting, of where that was discussed to cancel those sessions. I was wondering if anyone could point me to where those would be online or in person. And then the last suggestion I have, if you do plan to cancel their contract, please just go ahead and cancel the survey right now. It's open till the 19th currently. If you're against development at exit 255, what's the point? And canceling the contract, what's the point of continuing the survey at this point? the public that was there doesn't trust the survey. They don't trust the BCS management. They don't trust those individuals, Augusta Consulting, into planning what is they believe is right for their properties. We have heard, about the comprehensive plan survey has also been given to university students in that area to complete, which could sway because they are not current landowners in Grant County. You've also heard from the people that live next to the development that they don't want this. So we just, again, please urge you just to go ahead and cancel the survey, especially if you are wanting to cancel the contract directly. We do not want development just for county property taxes, which is all you would get from a data center. We want development for jobs in areas already zoned commercial or industrial. And I believe that is the actual point of a redevelopment commission, to bring business to restore blighted areas. And then lastly, I'd like just to bring the public attention directly, very quickly, to what the APC meeting on the 2nd of February stated, that in that redevelopment commission, out of the EDA map that was presented for the west side here of the county, there was a portion of land that was left out, and it was stated in that meeting that it is believed that the city of Marion is planning to annex that. We would like to know if you actually believe that to be fact enough, why are we not including it? If it's fact that Marion's going to do that, let's get that on public record, please. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
My name is Chris Parker. I'm a candidate for Senate District 17. I wanted to introduce myself to the commissioners. Senate District 17 represents Grant, Huntington, and Wabash counties. As by way of introduction, I'm a home rule guy. I see quite often the script has been flipped. We used to send our representatives down to Indy to advocate for resources and attention to develop our communities, and it seems like our representatives are coming back as messengers of what's going to be imposed on us from federal and state plans. And quite often it leaves our counties in turmoil and in instances with jail and education. It leaves the taxpayers on the hook for state initiatives without continuous funding when grant initiatives are pulled. And so as a home rule advocate, I'd really like to see greater county involvement with less state and federal interference when it comes to consolidation of townships, when it comes to removal of some of the county elected positions becoming appointed positions. I'd like to see the community leaders be in control and that accountability from spending and decision making. So if there's anything that I could do to be able to be a strong advocate for the citizens of Grant County, I want to make my number available to you. For anybody interested in positive contributions or crossfire, adversarial comment, my cell phone number is 260-760-4589. I'm available, and I'll stay after the meeting to make personal introductions as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Our next regular meeting is Monday, April the 6th at 10 a.m. You guys have anything else?
Yes, sir.
We'll be in recess until then.